it kind of looks foggy, but it's interesting. Definitely doesn't look like what I would expect it to. It's basically that in order for the fog to be there and actually do something, there has to be light, you know, it has to be lit. That's part of the problem, is I guess the fog is too good. Like we're trying to fake it. And the thing is, we have like a super bright nighttime, so there's actually quite a bit of light bouncing around. We just want it to behave differently. It's like, well, treat the sky differently than you treat everything else. It's like, no, that's not really how it works. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's as close as we would get to fog. Like, it is fog, like, it's just it looks... I mean, we really need to turn down the clouds, I guess. And is it clouds that are actually causing any of these issues? Well, if we were going to have them like wisps of fog floating, that's not atmospheric fog, that's something else. mean, that just looks like a... just doesn't look right. Yeah, just can't get any fog. Basically, you'd want it to be totally lit up in order for it to look right. Well, I guess this is more what it would look like. You know, like if we actually had fog at night here, it's gonna look like this. And it just doesn't work very well during the... Yeah, I mean, it would be like, you know, this would be the fog at night. Which, I mean, would kind of work, right? But it's not going to work. You know, compared to the daytime. Well, I guess it doesn't look completely awful. It just doesn't look very good. It's just super foggy, but it's at night and it's super bright. God. Yeah, I guess that's really the only way we'd be able to do it. And the thing is, what we need is we would need this to go to black as opposed to go to white. But that's not how this atmospheric fog works. Alright, so I think we've learned what we want about the atmospheric fog. Basically that it can serve some purposes, but it's not going to serve all of them. So let's take a look at this exponential height fog and see what we can do with that. So let's look it up real quick. Alright, this document covers exponential height fog and its uses. It assumes that you already have a level set up in which you would like to add fog. Exponential height fog creates more density in low places of the map and less density in high places. The transition is smooth, so you never get hard cutoffs as you increase altitude. Exponential height fog also provides two fog colors, one for hemisphere facing the dominant directional light and another for the opposite hemisphere. Okay, so to animate the fog, use matinee to animate the exponential height fog actor values. Alright, so we can animate exponential height fog, whatever. Height fog color is able to be changed at runtime. Okay, so we have exponential height fog. So we can increase the density. Let's see, height fall off. Oh man, our exponential height fog is probably all sorts of screwed up because the problem is we're not looking. We're not looking straight out at, a scene here. We're actually looking downhill. So our exponential height fog is probably completely fucked for what we want. So we probably can do a few things with it. Yeah, we can basically just have fog that looks like actual fog is what it looks like. This looks a lot better than the atmospheric fog. Yeah, we just can't really use the height part of it. We can actually cut the fog off, so we only fog up things that need to be fogged up. Alright, and we can change it to volumetric fog. Yeah, this fog looks much better as actual fog. The other stuff, I guess, is more meant to be like create an atmosphere. Yeah, the moon's a little big. Alright, so what's the difference here with volumetric fog? Oh, that's interesting. Like, so it's the fog is lit, I guess, is what's happening here. And when we're in shadow, you know, we get the kind of the bluish tint, but when we're not in shadow, we get the actual light coming across. It really makes it look like there's something there, because there's a difference. You know, it's like... Because the thing is, that fog is actually lit up. Because that's not a crepuscular ray right there. That's an actual... That's actually lit fog. What in the hell? Ah! Override light colors with fog and scattering. What are we doing? Alright, so it looks like the exponential height fog definitely is the stuff that works for us. Yeah, okay, so we can definitely get the fog working. The volumetric fog looks pretty decent. It actually looks like fog. It doesn't look like, not fog, which is good. So why don't we see how it looks like during the day? Looks like fog during the day. Looks like fog during the night, too. Alright, not too bad. Set the view distance higher because we can. Override fog colors. Wind scattering. Nah. Scales the height of view values larger than 1 can cause particles everywhere to absorb more light. So what does it actually do? Doesn't really do much. Now what's the color of the night light? Like we've got the skylight, which is white, and we've got the celestial light, which is white. I mean, it'd basically be like we could take the night sky color or something else, and we could attach that to the fog if we wanted, and then have like a fog value that could just be set nicely in our world. And that way, like, Adam could be like, alright, I want to turn the fog up on this level, and he just turns a knob of just like fog goes to maximum or whatever, and it automatically uses like the colors that it already should. So if the night sky is, you know, bluish or whatever, then it just turns more blue. That way we don't have to screw around with every setting ever all over the place. Alright, so let's write down what we know about the volumetric fog. So this is the exponential height slash volumetric fog. So things we can do. Make fog. We can have it enter and leave based on it doesn't really have a very good distance, does it? Like, if we look at this, and if we wanted to make this fog roll in or out, controls the density increases as height increases, smaller values make transition larger. This is an interesting effect. I don't really like it though. Alright, so if we go 0.01. Alright, so if we went from 0.1 to 0.09, 0.08, 0.07, 0.06, 0.05, 0.04, 0.03, 0.02, 0.01, 0.001. Four, 3.2, 1, 0.0. Like that would have to go. To have the fog leave, the density doesn't really work very well. The max opacity does though. Yeah, using the density doesn't really work very well. It loses precision as it fades out completely. So, I mean, we could try to do both, but it doesn't look like it's going to work too well. Directional and scattering color. All right. All right, so we can actually, yeah, you can color the fog. All right, things we cannot do. Use the height-based stuff in the fog. Our world is at an angle, so it doesn't work. So we can't have, like, you know, a nice fog at ground level or something like that that falls off. Like, we just can't do that with, not with the universe that looks like this. So if we wanted like a bank of fog or something, we'd have to actually do something else. Which is unfortunate. Like, we can't have a nice foggy, you know, area coming up from our stuff. Like, we couldn't have like just fog through, you know, on the floor of a valley or something. Not without using some sort of particle effect system and all that. Was there anything else that the height fog can do? Doesn't really look like it. That's pretty much our fog. I mean, what we'd have to do if we wanted to use the height there is we'd have to not have our world on an angle. As you know, we've got our height right here. That's kind of what it would look like. Is as you go into the fog, you would not be able to see. But that's not what works. Hello, Coy Van Laden, 97. Cohen Van Laden, or whatever your name is. You made your first program in C#. Well, good job. Links are deleted, so if you want me to take a look at something, you can send me a personal message, and I will see if it's appropriate for chat. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'm kind of brain dead at the moment, so I've been messing around with fog and everything, and then of course my brain itself is fog. So I guess we're being successful. Does this location have anything to do with anything? No. 000 for the win. So I think that works for fog, and we'll just deal with that. So no fog in the low-lying areas. We have to do that with particle effects and stuff like that. Like, what we'd want, I guess, would be emissive particle effects. So that'd be particle effects that would be sitting inside of these areas in order to make actual fog that we could see and do things with. Alright, does this fog work well with that reflection? I don't see anything horribly wrong with it. Alright, so you put together a little YouTube video here. And you've got your C# program, which is swapping out pictures of your flags. So it's supposed to be like a little game where you guess which flag it is, and then you check your answer, stuff like that. Well, that's pretty cool. So you're doing stuff with, the graphics. Looks like you've got a window that's popped up there nicely with your well-behaved window going on. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Good job. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you got your text is all nicely centered, and using the nice buttons and everything. I assume you made that in like Visual Studio, and used like the panel editor to put your widgets on there and everything. That reminds me of how we used to make stuff back in college for some of these. I'll see if I can grab one of those. I'll have to wake up my share drive. Oh man, now I'm freezing. My share drive doesn't like certain actions. So we've got our fog. It looks like it's working, doing what it should. Oh man. I'm trying to like copy a file and things are freaking out on me. Gotta love that with computers. Yeah, we used to make like stuff like this in college where you could make these things and let's see, we're supposed to be able to click and drag or something like that. Yeah. And these are all like widgets that we'd make in C Sharp and do all that. So we had a lot of assignments like that. We'd have to change how like all these things were. All this stuff worked and all that. Yeah, Windows Form applications. Yeah, that's what we're working on. And thank you for following. COVID-97. Hopefully, programming is something that you enjoy. Well, these are all just... I don't even remember any of this crap. That was so long ago. Do I have any cool programs from college that actually were cool? Or are they just awful? Oh yeah, we had to like make... We had to make movies and crap. Oh man, everything's all screwed up with these old files. I've got my program there for botting Age of Conan because that game was awful. Anyway, I'm starting to get totally distracted here. Alright, so we got our exponential height fog. Are there any other pieces that we want to look at for this scene before we're done with it? So let's go down to our... I mean, the only other thing would be the... Yeah, we did the layers of mist. We should take out all the assets from test content and throw them somewhere nice. And rendering clouds is a separate sky sphere. Sky sphere, yeah. Sky sphere. I don't think we're going to do that. So let's take a look. There are stars, there's a moon, wispy clouds. We do have cloud textures. slightly fisheye? No. Let's not mess with that. Background mountains, background row of trees, terrain. Oh yeah, and this was all like our force sync with our update grass. Alright. So the moon casts a bright light shadow on the ground. Character has a hard shadow cast by the moon. We need a massive lack of detail on the ground. Alright, I think that's pretty much everything for this scene. So what I think is basically I'm going to go to the store and go get, you know, like some food and then eat that food and all that sort of stuff. But I think that's pretty much everything for this level. So the only thing we could do here before we run anywhere would be, I guess we'll write down a few tasks here. We want to add the fog component to the sky sphere. Add in morning fog automatically. Based on time of day, perhaps? Or should we just not worry about that too much? And like, if you want fog in a level, we'll just add fog, and you'll be like, there you go, add fog if you want it. That wouldn't be too bad, actually. Alright. So why don't we work on getting rid of some test content here then? Like, we got our stars cube map, but I don't think anything's using it. Alright, so nobody's using source stars. Test sky material uses this, alright. Nobody uses sky stars. Ogre export, yeah. So we can get rid of a lot of these. And that's our actual background stars, as you can see in the background. I like how it makes it look like it's day when there's no moon out. It's because it's brighter. And we get rid of these test skyboxes, which were just gigantic, which were not helpful. They didn't do anything for us. Yeah, we have this test skybox here. We don't need this blueprint test sky anymore. Are we using the clouds texture? Yeah, it looks like we do have a few things using that. Nothing's using this material that we had. And the Unity export should be toast. Alright, cool. So we've got these. Let's go make a home for this. Maybe graphics, and then sky. Be a good folder for stuff about sky. Let me just move all this over there. Let's check everything out. Slam it over there in the other spot. Let Visual Studio do its job here. I mean, let Unreal do its job. I really am losing my mind. Alright. Alright, so this is going to be, we'll just call it placeholder moon. God, that's a lot of damned operations for source control. I'm actually just going to call it default. For the love of fucking God, really? It has to perform 10 operations with perforce in order to move that. That's just so ridiculous. Alright, so this is going to be default Brackenwood Sky. Alright, this will be default, I guess, Galaxy Q. I guess we might want to take out the spectral halo texture, but whatever. We'll just call it default spectral halo. This will be default stars. This will be our default skybox. Default sky sphere, I should say. This will be our default sky sphere material. And let's go to our test level real quick and go to our visuals, grassland at night, and let's grab a thumbnail right there. That looks good. Let's make sure we got this all built up. Alright, so I think that's good to go. So let's save everything. And close it down. And I think I'm going to be done here for maybe working today. So thanks for sticking around, and what we're going to be probably working on next time is we've got these concept shots from a few of these things, like one of the next ones. I guess maybe people might have opinions on this. I've got a few different things that I could work on next. Yeah, thank you, Kirk. kind of, I could try to make a few different scenes. So the ones that we've already done was we made this one. And we also made this one. So the question is, which scene should I attempt to make next? Is my emote still pending? Well, let's just check. It was pending earlier, but you never know. Noon has rolled around and gone past. Maybe they had their meeting or whatever they were supposed to do in order to figure it out. As if the Twitch dashboard can even load. Doesn't look like... Yeah, they might be down. I'll just check it manually. Yeah, it's still pending. So still pending. Anyway, which one do you think we should do next? Should we do this waterfall scene at night? I mean, this is not a waterfall scene at night. This is inside of a cave during the day. With the big thing about this that we have to solve is going to be, like, we have to have this clear water that's pouring down, that's transparent and does refraction on the light that passes through it. We also need foliage that comes down. The foliage probably is just masked stuff, but you know, there's some things there. There's kind of a foresty level. We need to figure out how to get trees that are all nice in the background with hopefully rays of light that are coming down, and how we would accomplish that sort of effect. It's very similar to this scene, which is more of like, if we're in a forest, like, how do we just have a forest, right? Like, these are really kind of the same thing. And I guess kind of the same with this one. But